Landesweltmeister.
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it foosball. German foosball from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
There we go. Already full of mistakes.
Oh,
I just did something I don't even understand. But I think we're up and on and good to go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Schnitzel Night, Monday night, Germany Hour.
You're not tuning in for technical excellence, but here we are. We're doing it a little differently tonight, and we'll see what happens. But so far, so good. We played the music. We did our little head bob. You get to see what the background in this room looks like.
Yeah, my room too. I kept it extra dark on purpose. I think we're live streaming right now. Let me just double check.
I did not.
When I checked the live stream, the top of my YouTube bar was on our YouTube broadcast. So I'm just like, oh, how did I figure that out? So I'm still not 100%. So long story short, we are changing up a little bit of the behind the scenes here, and there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I believe we're doing it. So please give us notes in the chat. Like
Very good.
If we're too loud, too quiet, you don't see us, you can only see my butt or something, tell us in the chat.
Oh my God!
Oh
my God! Don't say that. The
know.
butt cam? You got the butt cam live?
I believe we're doing it. Okay, there I am.
Not what we're
and look,
for.
and on our broadcast, both of our cameras are broken right now. This is likely an audio only broadcast.
Okay.
Again, I don't know how to solve that either. So if you can't see us, we apologize. As long as you can hear us.
I mean, you kind of by now you kind of know.
Know the deal.
What the deal is. I needed a haircut. I was going to get one. It didn't happen. So you're not missing that much.
Me too. I've got all sorts of hair I need to get rid of.
Oh boy.
But anywho, the hot news today that you just shared with me, the hot button news. I've got
Pellegrino Matarazzo's done.
He's done.
At Hoffenheim.
Pellegrino.
We saw it coming. Pellegrino.
Finito Matarazzo. I'm trying to get that. El fin. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
That's what I was saying.
He's done. El finito. Pellegrino. Finito.
We have a soft spot for him. We like Pellegrino. We did the little song. He's American, He's an American in Germany. That is very on brand for the Schnitzel Boys. But that's it now. This was coming. Hoffenheim, in a year where the three relegation candidates were seemingly obvious the entire time, Hoffenheim has tried to muscle their way in. They've tried to get into the bottom. They've tried to join the race to the bottom, and I guess the people in charge did not like that, and now he's done.
He is done. Now there's been pressure on him
from the beginning
of the season, so it's a little unfair. But in the Bundesliga, you get fired. And if I'm not mistaken, they got a point on the weekend, right? I was just like, oh, good, they got a point. And I was like, oh, that means that Pellegrino is saved for another week.
Wasn't enough.
But that is incorrect.
A road point in Augsburg was not enough to keep his job.
Yeah, what was he supposed to do? Win? They were just waiting on him. I'm trying to think. I was just double checking to make sure it was a scoreless draw, right? Yeah, against Augsburg.
It was, yes. 0-0 Augsburg Hoffenheim.
And they just fired him right after that? Yeah, it is what it is. You can tell Hoffenheim was in a bad way all season. The expectations of Hoffenheim are higher than the way they perform. And if I could be a conspiracy theorist here for a second, definitely it seemed like the board was not on his side from the get-go. They were just stringing him along until they could sack him, which they did here. And he survived through to November. And then they're going to hire God knows who, some some new young whippersnapper. Who knows?
From right, young whippersnapper. That's what they're gonna do.
Maybe. But the Pellegrino days in Hoffenheim are over, but his journey in the Bundesliga hopefully is not over. He was, up until being sacked, the longest tenured coach in the Bundesliga. Of his time, not of all time, but he was the longest of all active coaches in the Bundesliga. Pellegrino was the longest active up until now, and he was fired. The second longest active right now is I don't know who, but someone else. Hey, is there a kitty cat?
Well, it's oh, you mean other than Frank? Yeah, I don't know who is the longest running coach in the Bundesliga. I mean, none of these people. I'm just looking at the.
It shows you the turnover.
The
a lot
table.
Of turnover
Nobody really has been around. Yeah, there's a lot of turnover, and there's a lot of young There's a lot of young, hungry coaches. A lot of teams now. In the time of the Topmüllers and the Hoeneßes and the Nagelsmanns and the companies, and everybody's young. All these except.
Oh, sorry.
No, he's the exception. Dieter Hecking is now the oldest trainer in charge in the Bundesliga, and apparently, from what I heard, that's not a coincidence. That is on purpose.
Right.
The club bosses said we need some seniority in the situation. We're a rudderless team with a splintered locker room and a lack of structure. We're gonna need an old guy, and they got Dieter Hecking, and it immediately everything changed.
That's right.
I mean, sad is the season where you celebrate a home point like you just won something.
Well,
like it was
against
Bayer Leverkusen. Okay,
defending champions of the league.
Defending champions Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah.
I said that in your stretch, who you had Bayern, you got Leverkusen. Who do you have? Dortmund next week or Leipzig? You have the stretch of all the big boys.
Left. We have Stuttgart left.
I said you're going to get 3 points.
Stuttgart are no longer the big boys, actually.
No. I said you're going to get 3 points. Heck, you might get 4 if you get one over on Stuttgart next weekend. You said 0 points. You're already wrong.
I said 0 points. Right now we have 1. Yep,
you're already wrong.
That's true.
Right.
I'm closer than you are so far.
It's 1 point closer to you than me. That is true, but it's in there. It's in there.
I mean, the feeling around the team definitely completely changed, because we saw a team that resembled a Bochum team. They were scrappy. They were defending well. I mean, there was a cohesion. There still wasn't a ton of offensive quality. The goal they finally scored was kind of a fluky solo effort by oh my god, I can't even. Miyoshi is his name. Yeah, he came off the bench. So Dieter Hecking, who goes by the nickname Die Eule, the owl, because of his kind of specifically furrowed brow, he had the right hand for subbing in the guy, and he beat the keeper in the short post, and people went nuts. But even before that, it felt like a different team. Even though Dieter Hecking, when he arrived, he said that the squad is no worse than 5 or 6 other squads in the Bundesliga. I strongly disagree with that. I think that is not the case. But I mean, what is he going to say?
Did he cite which squads specifically?
No, he did not. He did not. He said 5 or 6. You can sort of take your pick as to what those are. I don't think that's true, but yeah, it looked immediately very different, and it was nice that in the end it got rewarded with a point. He seems like didn't know him all that well, but yeah, he's an older guy. He's local. He's from Castrop Rauxel, so he's not from. He's a sort of a kind of local guy, and he had a very winning introductory press conference. I thought he was not making any promises. He didn't say anything insane. He said, "Well, it's an uphill climb." He didn't guarantee that they weren't gonna get relegated, but he said he was gonna give it all he had. He said he is a local guy. If he doesn't like something, people will know about it. He doesn't mince words, and maybe this is what the team needs. This was a good start. I mean, it's still, we're like we're 11 games in, 10 games in, and we have 2 points. So it's not like anything really changed in terms of the math, but the feeling was very different.
Let's go. You got 2/3 of the season left. Believe, and I do think Dieter Hecking was a good hire. Seba S in the chat. Let's go Mainz. How you doing, Seba S? How you doing today? We got our Red Bulls coming up. Let me try
Mainz
something.
Mainz beat Dortmund.
I'm on a new thing here. How about this? Managing standard monitor. How do I do that? Oh, no. Okay, sorry. Sebas, I just made you a moderator. That's what I just did. Okay, no offense. I'm going to remove you as a moderator. Okay, cool. I'm trying to get, we got this new platform here. I'm still figuring out.
We're building the plane as we're flying it.
We're building the plane as we're flying it. We'll just keep verbal about it. We got Seba S in the chat. Let's go.
I also cannot see the chat, I guess. This is something.
That's why I'm going to say it verbally. Something we'll figure out at some point. Or, like I said, you can also have the stream open another window, just mute it and see the chat that way. But either way, Mainz had themselves a great weekend, right?
They beat Dortmund.
They beat Dortmund, which is kind of the main theme of the video. Nuri Sahin had themselves a sloppy couple of weeks. Dortmund had themselves a sloppy couple of weeks. And this kind of leads to another bigger topic I want to talk about, which is German clubs in Europe. We just finished a European week, and for a second straight European week, the German clubs were very disappointing, I believe.
Yep.
I was like, I hope they fix that, and they didn't. They didn't fix that at all. The only win Dortmund had over the last 4-5 games was a 1-0 home victory with a late goal against Sturm Graz.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's home club.
Oh, is that true? I did not know that.
Yeah, and a fun fact about Sturm Graz, they used to play in Arnold Schwarzenegger Stadium. But do you know why they renamed that stadium?
No.
Because Arnold Schwarzenegger was a big proponent of the death penalty in the United States as an American politician. And in Austria, it's a big no-no. There's no death penalty allowed in Austria, or Germany for that matter. So they took his name off the stadium because they were ashamed.
And one can't even disagree about that. This is like immediately you're canceled.
I wasn't there. I'm just telling you the story, bud. I wasn't there. I wasn't hosting the thing.
All right.
All I know is that there used to be a stadium called Arnold Schwarzenegger Stadium in Austria, in Graz, where he's from. And Sturm Graz is from that city. And that stadium was renamed. And according to the Wikipedia article, that's why they renamed it. Where they were opposed to his opinions on the death penalty or something. That's worth a little documentary, maybe a little deep dive at some point. But anywho, that club,
that's interesting,
little Sturm Graz. How would you say that Austrian style?
Sturm Graz.
Sturm Graz.
Sturm Graz.
They came up to the Ruhrgebiet, to Dortmund.
Can't do it.
Yeah, we have to get Schwarzenegger. We gotta get Schwarzenegger on here one of these days. We should get Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold, bitte.
I'll be back.
Come.
I'll be back.
I love watching videos of him speaking German, like on the Thomas Gottschalk show and stuff. He speaks such weird German because it's not even Austrian German. It's like a mountain dialect, and even his German voice, has what was it? Even his German has a Schwarzenegger accent or something like.
So,
anywho, Dortmund had their 1-0 win over Sturm.
Everybody else.
Graz.
Everybody
Bayern
else
München had a win. We'll talk about that in a second. There's a bigger
but that was
storyline
also kind of a squeeze. Now, let me tell you, I have a good friend, Keir Randall. He's from Scotland. He's a big Celtic fan. They've been struggling in the Champions League. They've been dominating the Scottish League. They've been struggling in the Champions League. Now, with this big Champions League table, 36 teams, before this all started, if you had to pick an over-under, how many German teams will finish ahead of Celtic? Celtic's been kind of last in their groups. Of the 5, we have 5 German teams in the Champions League. How many of those? You would pick all 5
to finish above.
No offense to Celtic. You would pick all 5 to finish ahead of Celtic. How many are ahead of Celtic currently in the big table?
Only without looking 2. At the table? Oh, I thought it was a quiz. 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I do it to you all the time.
That's true. Anyway, and I mean, this is partly it's partly a direct outcome of this game that we saw, where Celtic pretty unceremoniously disposed of RB Leipzig 3-1 at home. And so subsequently, Celtic is doing better than maybe they thought they would. They're in 15th place, but we have 3 teams behind. So the German teams right now in the big table, the 36-team table, which I do enjoy. There's a lot of movement every time, every match day. Last time we had a lot of English teams bunched up in the front. I didn't like to see that. That has changed, because the English teams also didn't have a good week. Arsenal lost, and Villa lost, and and Man City lost. So everybody lost. So a lot of them lost, except Liverpool. Liverpool's now in first. So the only team that's currently in the top 8 for a direct qualification from the Germans is Dortmund, and then they're in 7th, and then we have Bayer Leverkusen in 13th, just ahead of Celtic. They're 15th, and then we have Bayern in 17, Stuttgart in 27, and Leipzig 32. Leipzig have 0 points, along with Sturm Graz, Young Boys Bern, Red Star Belgrade, and Slovan Bratislava are the teams that have 0 points.
So Swiss club, Austrian club, German club, and then 2 Eastern European clubs.
Yeah.
No points. That's crazy.
What do you make of it? What do you make of it?
RB Leipzig has 0 points. Is that true?
0 points.
That's crazy. I guess against Liverpool, that's crazy. Because they're doing well. Maybe they made it conscious. I don't know how it works. Every year, it's clear that certain teams do better in certain competitions than others, right? There's teams doing great in the Champions League, but doing poorly at home, and vice versa. I don't know if that's a conscious effort, or if that is just the soccer gods taking over. I don't know if RB Leipzig had a meeting and be like, hey guys, we're here for the Bundesliga this year. When it comes to Champions League, I'm going to play youngsters, don't go 100%. I don't know. I'd be surprised if that was the case. But
no.
Yeah, I don't.
Right. That can't be a thing.
I don't know. Yeah. But domestically, they're doing great. I think they're second place behind Bayern right now. So just look at the chat. We'll get to you in a second.
That is true.
But 0 points in Europe, that's pretty disappointing from Leipzig. And going to Scotland and losing, was it 3-1, right? It was pretty heavy handed.
3-1. It was pretty
so it wasn't close.
Comprehensive.
And like you said, the only winning German on this week was Kuhn, the Celtic German, making Germany the only person making Germany proud that week. I don't know. Not good. I mean, there's still time. Not the criticism, but the beauty of this large table is it's like you really just need to grab. In the old format, you had to make top 2 out of 4. So it was, I think, a little tighter. Now it's just need to make top, was it 27 out of 36, kind of? Isn't that sort of the...
You need 24. You need top 24 out of... To make a playoff. If you're in the top 8, you're automatically in. And then there's 9th to 24th play. But I mean, the lower you are, the more difficult your. No, hope's not dead for sure.
No.
I mean, it seems like a point per game, although it is getting late. Like it seems like you need to to average more than a point per game.
There's 12 points left, right? There's 4 games
to get through it, and so they're gonna need like three. They're gonna need three. They're gonna need to win 3 out of 4 or something like that in order to get through, and that's no small feat for them.
And
I mean, Stuttgart are a little closer. They have 4 points, so they're right on the edge. But yeah, for Leipzig, it's getting late early.
Yeah, and Stuttgart were defeated by Atalanta in Stuttgart, if I'm not mistaken.
Also pretty lackluster effort.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, there is no, if you don't make it through, you make it to the Europa League this year, right?
No, that's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing anymore.
If you're done, you're done.
You're done. So that means that Leipzig will just have no Europe after Christmas, which might be a contributing factor to their title run. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. But Stuttgart, Stuttgart lost to Atalanta, and there was sorry about that. There was a triumphant return for Xabi Alonso to Liverpool as well, but it wasn't as triumphant as he would have liked.
It was triumphant for a half,
but the second half didn't go well, wasn't it? Again, I should review. Wasn't it like 5-0 or something?
4. It was
4-0.
It was 4
at the half, and then it was 4-0 by the end of the game, I believe. Yeah, not a great collapse, not a great second half for Xabi Alonso. And Arne Slot and the Liverpool boys are looking like a match made in heaven these days.
I mean, they really are.
They're flying.
I mean, Mo Salah is like turning back. That is clearly playing like it's a contract year, which it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're doing great.
All right, let's
both
catch up
in both the Champions League and the Prem. So and Leverkusen lost in the Champions League 1-1 at Bochum. Only the second team in the season to drop points at Bochum. I mean, in terms of title race, everybody dropped points except Frankfurt. I guess Frankfurt beat Stuttgart in the big game. Which that was an exciting
heavy-handed
game.
Stuttgart and Leverkusen are both having quite the sophomore slump. Just putting that out there. But Dortmund had themselves a loss over the weekend. Stuttgart had themselves a loss over the weekend. Leverkusen.
So Bayern are very much in control. And Vincent Kompany tied the record for most points for Bayern 10 games in.
Not in the Champions League.
Not in the Champions League, but in the Bundesliga.
Seba S is saying that if Bayern Munich keep up this form in the Bundesliga, they will win the title. Definitely favorites. It's a Bayern München year. Seba S, doing good. My Mainz beat Dortmund, and my local club Red Bulls beat Columbus Crew. That's right. Damn, I feel bad for Bjorn. His Bochum are having a terrible season. At least they tied to Bayer. The schedule for Mainz doesn't look too hard for the next 3 matches. They play Holstein Kiel in Kiel, and then Hoffenheim, who are in bad form, and Wolfsburg in Wolfsburg, which is another thing we talk about. I have something to say about all 3 of those clubs, actually.
Well, go ahead then.
But to finish out, I will. But finish out. Bayern Munich Elversberg beat Hannover 3-1 in the Bundesliga 2, and Schalke finally won a game in the Bundesliga 2. Seba looking at the Bundesliga 2 for us. Maybe they can escape relegation, or else they disappear from existence. The Bundesliga 2 is always crazy. I could see St. Pauli versus Hamburg in the playoff at the end of the season. That'll be fun. Wow. That's a good point. The Hamburg versus St. Pauli playoff is a very real thing. I think that would be amazing. Tune in that. Yeah. Is Schalke relegating going to make them go out of business, you think? Is sort of that the idea?
Can
they not handle the Bundesliga 2 anymore? Or is it?
This is total speculation, but they're never going to get out of business, but it would definitely be a problem.
I know they were threatened with an amateur. I know there was something like that. They need some sort of angel, but they definitely still need an angel because they are just futzing around there in the Bundesliga 2 and they're just bleeding money, I think. But anywho, Hoffenheim. So I warn you, Seba, Hoffenheim are going to bring in a new coach. There might be a new coach bounce back for that. You might be the victims of that game. We'll see. The other thing about Wolfsburg is the VfB layoffs are very serious. We sort of saw it last year. but it's getting to kind of ahead. It's like big news. It's getting bigger and bigger news. VW is laying off a lot of workers and shutting down a lot of factories. And VW is kind of collapsing, and they're asking for a bailout, the kind that General Motors got from the United States in 2008. But Germans don't do bailouts. That's an American thing. So we'll see what happens. But when VW struggles, Wolfsburg struggles as well. Much like how when Warner Communications struggled in the 80s and lost a lot of money, the first thing they had to do was get rid of the New York Cosmos. It's like, well, we can't spend money on Pele anymore. So if VW starts losing a lot of money, they'll be like, well, we can't really spend a lot of money on Kamani Hill anymore. We can't spend money on Kevin Paredes anymore. We gotta shut that club down.
Kevin Paredes is going to be the first one to go.
So that's what's said about Wolfsburg. They have a little bit of an off-field vibe. Sort of, there's like off-field cloud hanging over that club, almost like you'd see in an MLS club that's about to fold or relocate. So that cloud is kind of slow, maybe not to the extreme, but it's kind of slowly appearing above Wolfsburg. And Kiel, I don't even know if I wanted to bring this up because it's 100% unrelated to soccer, but I do want to talk about something about Germany and Kiel and the music scene. But I want to save that segment for the very end if we have time.
Okay. Well, I would say, Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg are two teams that people would not miss. If they were to fade away. Well,
but hold on. That I don't like that opinion. I don't like foreign road fans aren't going to miss them. But who are road fans are any going to miss? Are Bochum fans sad because Schalke is about to go out of business? Do you think? Are they crying? Are they crying over it? No, they probably see that as a win.
No.
For Wolfsburg fans, for Leipzig fans, for Hoffenheim fans, they have a club. Endlich, finally. Just like here in MLS, like you have a club. When Chivas USA folded, there were fans that had their hearts broken. You give your heart to a club, you're there. If Wolfsburg are struggling, the only people cheering are the road fans. The home fans are losing a club, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but I mean, you're these are not all created equal. Like Leipzig has a huge following.
And they could shut down next year if they wanted to. Well. We have been noticing. I was curious about why the stadium wasn't as full, and pretty much people were saying because of the VW layoffs. But anywho, there you go. Bundesliga topsy turvy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying if you had to, if you're comparing this with, even Hannover or all the if you just look in Bundesliga 2, Hannover, Düsseldorf, Karlsruhe, HSV, Köln, Nürnberg, Kaiserslautern, Hertha, those are all like way bigger teams than Wolfsburg or Hoffenheim.
Traditionsfans. But I mean,
and Wolfsburg and Hoffenheim have been propped up by corporate sponsors, and that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how the cookie crumbles. It's no good. It's not a
name the German club that. Union Berlin are up because they have
VfL Bochum, baby. VfL Bochum, baby.
That's true, but that's their problem,
I think. I mean, no, I'm not criticizing. Obviously, I'm not criticizing the, the fact that they have money from sponsors. That's good for them. I mean, this is how it goes. This is the promotion relegation setup. If you got the money, you got the players, you get the points, you're in. If you have the oldest and most full of tradition club, and you mismanage and you piss it all away, and then you go down. That's how it goes. So it's not like I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong, but on the other hand, if these eras of corporate sponsorship were to come to an end and these teams were to fade away, that'd be okay.
Well, I mean, just like I said, there's no bailouts. I mean, every team has the responsibilities to manage themselves properly. And there you go. Seba asks, many fans in Germany are upset that Schalke could disappear. Apparently, he says if they make the Bundesliga 3, they wouldn't have the license for Bundesliga 3 because of money stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, but again, I'm sure that could be remedied with an angel or some sort of investor or something. Lars Windhorst or something like that coming in. If I had $1 billion, I'd get in there.
Well, maybe they should just go amateur and start over.
Yeah, amateur like Bochum, because Bochum's amateur, but they're in the top flight. They pulled it off. Seba S. I think the league would be better with teams like Hamburg and Schalke and the traditional clubs, and Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg. As much as I hate Leipzig, I believe they have enough fans to be in. Well, earn it. If the Traditionsvereins want to be there, they have to be better than Heidenheim. They have to be better than Hoffenheim. They have to be better than Union Berlin. They have to be better than St. Pauli. You have to be better than Holstein Kiel. Like, these clubs are earned it. That's the beauty of promotion relegation. Clubs earned it. And here we are. So, long story short, German clubs in Europe, poo-poo. Because even though Bayern München did win, they were overshadowed by the fact that there was a fan death in the stadium. I don't know if you saw that story. So
I did not.
They had a fan died in the stadium during the game. Ambulance was there. I don't know if they had a game pause per se, but sort of was a tragedy. It was a 1-0 game, so Bayern to get their 3 points. But the only thing worth noting was the tragic loss of a fan, and that sort of overshadowed that game. So, German clubs in Europe just can't catch a break, I guess. And
if they win, somebody dies.
Rest in peace, whoever you are, good sir. I think it was a dude, he had a heart attack or something, let's hope they can be more fruitful next time. The Bundesliga is shaping out to be Bayern and the rest, and right now RB Leipzig is the only team getting in there because Borussia Dortmund are having, in my opinion, a very disappointing slide under Nuri Sahin. They did lose that game with Mainz. They had that early Emre Can red card, but then they really couldn't manage the game. And it just goes to show you, they did invest in players, Maxi Bayer and the like. Niklas Füllkrug went to West Ham, sorry. But they invested in a lot of players. But they invested in a very young, unproven coach. And right now, Edin Terzic is looking really good right now. Under his tutelage, they seemingly performed a little better. From runners-up the league to runners-up the Champions League. Now we got Nuri Sahin here. They're doing well in Europe. I guess they're one of the more stronger teams. But their domestic form leaves much to be desired. And we'll see what that looks like. Maybe they need a new assistant coach. Maybe they need to make the change over wintertime. I don't think they're ready to make a change right now. But if it doesn't get any better by the winter break, I imagine there's got to be some sort of a change, right? What do you think?
Yeah, he can't stick around not too long. I mean, they don't. They kept Terzic for a long time, but he did significantly better in terms of results.
Yeah,
at least for part of it. So yeah, that's not going well at all.
It might be time. I wonder if this Dieter Hecking thing to Bochum is the beginning of maybe a new trend of bringing.
This is a new wave of seniors.
Because if I fired Nuri Sahin, my next hire would be an old vet, a guy who knows what they're doing, right? Like again, I like Urs Fischer, Peter Neurer, or probably Urs Fischer.
No, not Peter Neurer.
Well, I don't know what he's up to these days. He's still alive.
I don't know. I think he's still alive for sure.
I remember back in the day in 2004 when I was watching Bundesliga on Fox Sports World, the little premium cable network that could. They interviewed during the Bochum game. They had a live interview with Peter Neurer on the phone. He was speaking in English on Fox Sports to the guys, and he was just like, "I love Utah." Talking about how much he loved Utah. He loved riding his motorcycle around Utah, and I was like, "This is a cool guy. I like this guy." And Bochum never played better than under him. At least in my recollection. I'm sure back in the day that's different. But there you go. Anywho.
No, he was a legend.
He's a legend. Back to the show. Hoffenheim Wolfsburg, not good story. The thing was mentioned, but small teams deserve because they went through the process of good management. And the right path. The Bundesliga, yeah, promotion relegation, baby. That story we'll bring that up in the USA Hour, as there's maybe stuff to talk about related to the lack of promotion relegation and what that means. But here in the Germany Hour and European processes, promotion and relegation act as a fair method for clubs to earn it and clubs to fight for it. But yeah, I know right now it's looking like it's a Bayern München year, and
it's unless the Harry Kane curse is real, we're gonna find out. It's going to be put to the test.
We'll see. The German national team is assembled once again.
Yes.
And we have games against
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
And is Holland, right? Holland at home?
Didn't we play Holland twice already? We tied them in Amsterdam. We beat them at home, I think, didn't we?
Hungary on the road. I'm sorry.
Hungary, our old foes.
Bosnia at home, Hungary on the road. And that's that. Yeah, but I mean, I think
Ortega is on the goalkeeping roster.
Well, that's good.
Google him. Still fussing around with the goalkeepers.
To Google him, he's at Man City.
Well, I'm a German man. I don't watch the English game. I don't know.
Okay. Well, he's not a starter, so it is a little bit.
If he's at Man City,
he plays for them in the cup, and he got a good amount of.
Wait a minute.
He got a good amount of minutes.
He's the German Zach Steffen.
Yeah, except he's doing much better than Zach Steffen. He gets more minutes than any other second goalie in the Prem. He gets to play a lot, and he always does great. And there was when there was a rumor that Ederson was going to leave and go to Saudi, they were happy to have him be the starter. I think they have a lot of confidence in him, and he's been very good. He is a Bielefeld guy. He was coming from Arminia Bielefeld.
Nice.
So no, it's good. It's good that he's getting a chance because he should be in there now, especially with Ter Stegen out and Leno being pouty. Bernd Leno being pouty. They should give Ortega a shot.
Well, do you think he's going to have a game? He's not going to have a game. I think he's just there to hang out.
I don't know. I mean, these are the goose is cooked in the Nations League group. They need one more point, right? Or I guess 2 more points technically.
To do what? Who cares about the Nations League?
to win the group. To win the group. Okay. So these are going to be pretty low pressure. They should beat Bosnia at home, and then the game at Hungary can be maybe some experimentation.
When Germany
Julian Nagelsmann has not been in that mindset. He doesn't want to mess around. He says the time is short. The World Cup is coming soon. He only has limited windows, and he has an urgency, and I think that has served the team quite well so far.
It's true. It's coming. Same in the USA. It's coming up. We don't have much time here. Very good, very good. So we got Bosnia and Hungary. Let's hope they win the group. They win the group. There'll be a huge parade in Berlin. Hundreds of thousands of people will be there celebrating the team on the greatest victory in German national team history. So
I guess the Nations League is also on your list of competitions that you don't enjoy. Well, FIFA World Cup tops that list, but the Nations League
No, hold on. The FIFA World Cup does not top that list. The FIFA Club World Cup tops.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant.
Don't mix that up. Don't mix that up.
Regular. I mean, that's just implied. Everybody knows what I meant.
FIFA World Cup is my favorite. And I've said this before, but just rewatch it. There's such a great YouTube documentary. It's a DAZN documentary, but it's free on YouTube. It's about Diego Maradona getting ready for the 1994 World Cup. And then it was about his rise and fall. Such a great documentary. So good. And you know what really surprised me about that documentary? Is how much it was FIFA's doing. Like, it was Sepp Blatter's doing. Sepp Blatter's like, all right, we're hosting the World Cup in the United States. We need stars. And it's crazy to think that. So he called Diego Maradona, who was serving a doping ban at the time. And he's like, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to hook you up with a club and get you ready for the World Cup. So then he called Sevilla because he had a friend at Sevilla. And then FIFA sent Maradona to Sevilla for him to play that season and get fit and get better for the World Cup. He ended up leaving Sevilla early because, it's Maradona and stuff. But, I just, isn't that crazy? Like, all I think of as FIFA is a place that's supposed to send the schedule out. But no, FIFA engineers the game in every aspect of the way. And
you saw...
But you know what's funny about that? Then that summer, because Diego Maradona was doped up in the Australia playoff, Argentina almost missed the World Cup. FIFA made sure to skip the doping controls for the Argentina-Australia game. The Argentina won by 1 goal because they were trying to engineer Argentina to get to the World Cup. in Australia were the victims of that. And then at the World Cup, they caught him for doping, and then they sent him home. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that was the whole idea, to get some free press. You know what I mean? To throw Diego Maradona on the bus, entirely engineered by Sepp Blatter.
Well, I mean, but you saw just a few weeks ago, you saw Gianni Infantino basically jump out of a cake in Miami,
right?
To award the Supporters Shield winning Inter Miami a spot in the yeah. I mean, it's like it's
a team that can't beat Brad Guzan. Which
we'll
talk about in a bit.
To be discussed. Yes, and the biggest upset in MLS playoff history, right? Fair to say.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I can't think of too many others. Especially because in my mind, we'll talk about the USA. Right? I'm going to ahead of myself. So
should we do it?
But I would like to say one more.
Oh, you had one more thing. All right,
unrelated thing. Unrelated. It's stupid, but I'm hiding it here at the end. Deleted
We're
track.
not above stupid here at the Schnitzel Boys.
We
make room for the stupid at times.
But anyway, so it's Germany related, so I'm bringing it up now. So Bjorn,
yes.
Remember a few months ago when I shared the most mysterious song on the internet with you? The one.
Yeah.
That old punk song from the 80s that people have been looking for 20 years, who the band is and this.
Yes.
I would love to offer an update. The band
been found?
They found it. It was a band out of Kiel. Kiel, Deutschland. And that recording that they recorded off the radio in 1985 or whatever was from Hörfest 85, a music festival in Hamburg. That apparently NDR recorded some amateur bands, and that's what it was. But these guys, all still alive, a lot of them still work in music, and they all still live in North Germany. So this 20-year thing, which was broadcast on TV and was in magazines, was in the Stern or whatever.
Just passed them by?
It just passed them by. They just weren't connected. And if it wasn't for an army of likely ADHD, autistic-based Redditors like myself, doing the most insane research. They flew to Hamburg to go into an archive, a non-digitized archive that they had to pay for, just to go through papers and papers and papers of NDR records and stuff. And then literally there were updates to the investigation. Apparently 3 years ago, someone found the band without realizing they found the band. The band is called Flex, and the song was called The Subways of My Mind. And then when the guy was finally found, he's like, holy crap. And then he released his fresh studio recording of it and then even played it live. They got the guys together. They played it live again. And then the other funny part of the story was they lost touch with the drummer. However, the drummer saw a magazine article about it after the other three were found. And he called and they reconnected. And now all four of them are back together again and they're playing the song again.
Just a feel-good story.
Yeah, isn't that great? So if you're at home,
the internet at its best.
The investigation was from 2007 to 2024. What is that? That's 17 years on Reddit.
17 years.
People trying to figure this out. Not on Reddit, but on the internet trying to figure this out.
I hope it was worth it for everyone.
I think so. Such a great story. I thought this would never. I thought the band was dead. You know what I mean? It's a huge thing. It's a huge subculture. But it was found. It was solved. Flex from Kiel. Google it. Most mysterious song. Go Kiel. And the guy who ran the band lived in Philly before that for a couple of years. So it was a whole... Anyway, go to YouTube. Check it out. It's a great low deep dive. Other than Holstein Kiel, this band Flex came out of Kiel. I just want to say... It's time. It's
the Kiel connection.
It's the Kiel connection. All right,
amazing.
That was it. Seba, see you in the USA Hour. Hop in the other stream.
Tune in. So much to talk about. Big news. I was in Ohio this weekend. I did go. Ohio. I did go.
I didn't even know.
The craziest penalty kick shootout ever.
Amazing.
We will talk about it.
A lot of fun, excitement in US
soccer. Tune in.
Tune in. Tschüss, or hop over the USA Hour. See you in a bit.
Yeah.